There's nothing quite like Project Zomboid. There may be similar games which are technically in the same genre, like DayZ or Left 4 Dead 2, but none of that truly match what Project Zomboid has to offer. In this game, you are not the hero. Hell, you probably aren't even a background character. You're just some schmuck who's trying to survive the apocalypse. But you won't. The game is very clear about that. Dying is part of the game. Being able to continue in worlds you've previously lived, even if you're missing out on some early game amenities. But I digress. I'm not here to talk about the game's mechanics. Most of you watching are my friends who've played this game anyway. Thanks for that, by the way. This is more of my own learning experience, which I'd like to document for later viewing. Enjoy! Oh yeah, there will be time skips because I wasn't thinking about making this into a video at the time, sorry. The story begins at its first end. Poisoned by my own hand, I fell in the woods miles away from anything. It was pitiful, really, but I was still new, so cut me some slack. The second death found me soon after, watching my character get brutally ripped apart after getting my car stuck in a ditch, suffering from my own mistakes. There was some time in which I learned, whether from friends or by myself, about the game and how it works, and then I struck out on my own, determined to make my own adventure, and make one I did. I was sneaky, working my way through the shadows, dispatching foes left and right. I was cocky, brazenly making my way towards a police station, its abundance of guns drawing me in like a moth to a flame. I had already suffered a bite due to a miss, but I ignored that omen. Foolish now. My plan was to find a way to sneak in, arm myself, then blast my way out. How quickly the most well-laid plans turned to ash. I was discovered immediately, emerging from the tree line into an ambush. My greed scored me another wound, my swing sluggish and light due to the bite. I had stumbled into a horde, and instead of using an ample opportunity to escape and recuperate, I trapped myself in the locker room, its cold walls becoming my tomb. At the time, I didn't understand my follies. He got fucking swarmed, bro. I couldn't do nothing. Looking at it at face value, but now I do. I wanted to build a character from scratch, to give myself a more basic experience with only a few flaws to focus on surviving. My naive self chose anemic as my only detriment. I started naked but not afraid, finding shoes as my first goal. I knew zombies would have some, but when I didn't find a weapon, I decided to improvise. That improvisation was really me cutting myself on a zombie's lip ring, trying to bash its face in, and then locking myself outside the house. My anemic self couldn't handle the bleeding, so I ducked inside, bandaging quickly. I saw the pursuing zombie as the solution to my shoe problems. I went to open the window to let it in when... disaster. Glass was lodged to my feet. This early in the game, with no medical supplies, this spelled doom. I knew it wouldn't be safe with her alive, plus I needed her shoes. Agonizing pain followed my every move as I crawled to the bathroom upstairs. My state meant that this would be a long and arduous process of replacing bandage after bandage, my wounds infected from exposure. It was going to be a long journey. I had made my way to the bar I had once known as home in another life. Familiarity brings comfort, and bourbon meant treating my wounds. I had found an ambulance along the way and stitched up one of my reminders. I was still hobbled, but could move at a reasonable pace. I dragged myself all the way to this bar, and I intended to treat it as home. I enjoyed modern amenities such as a bath and tortilla chips, and took a sleeping pill to numb the pain as I drifted off to sleep. I planned to wake up early to try and catch the morning show, but was distracted by the slow decrease of my health. Thinking the stitching was infected, I tore it open. Yeah, that was not a good idea. So I slumped back to the bathroom, cursing myself all the way, unwilling to do the song and dance once again, but had to. In my short brain break, I discovered that the pharmacy was right next to where I had spawned. All the medical supplies I needed just right there. It was still a long journey. We arrived back at where it all began. Doors still locked and blood still inside. It would only be a parting visit, a brief shelter from the storm I now face as a new man. The water had turned off by now, so I placed pots and bowls to catch rainwater. I slinked past hordes. What was once a brute that I made to club zombies now faded into the fog like a specter in the rain. At last, I reached my salvation, the shining light beckoning me forward like the greed had done long ago. But not all treasures could be claimed without conquest. So my final test began. Even crippled, my skills improved and eventually prevailed. This place had everything I needed to stitch my aching feet back together, and more to make sure I got better. The rain still hammered down on the windows as I sat to rest, content to enjoy a cooked squirrel as the noon carpentry show came on. And this story to its end for now. Thank you for watching. I'm taking inspiration from other YouTubers like Ambiguous, Amphibian, and Kaif for this type of video. I feel only commentary can do this game justice. It can be boring from an outside perspective, but experiencing the game yourself, with tension knowing there could be a zombie around that corner to deliver a game-ending bite, always brings me back for more. It's almost addicting, but I felt I needed to share this learning experience. Because, after all, there is nothing quite like Project Zomboid. Thanks again.